Too many people believe that world travel is an inaccessible luxury for the rich. This is 100% wrong. It's not difficult, expensive, or dangerous to travel in most of the world. Over the last 3 decades, I've been to around 100 nations. And with all that travel, I've learned a few lessons. So this is the first in the series of how I travel. In this video, I'm going to share my way of finding airfares that's helped me affordably see places that would have otherwise been out of reach. So a quick disclaimer, the word affordable is in the title of this video. So I'm assuming you want to travel on a reasonable budget and get an excellent value for your money. If your travels are required to include things like overwater bungalows and flying first class, then I'm probably not your guy. So my primary strategy to affordably fly to amazing places is, instead of picking my destination, I have the destination pick me. So what the heck does that mean? Well, when I talk to friends about travel, I've noticed when I ask where they want to go next, they get very specific. You know, something like, we're going to visit Disney the last week of July. Now don't get me wrong. If you have your heart set on a specific destination and you can only go there at a specific time, then who am I to tell you what you should do with your time and money? However, you're going to likely pay dearly for your inflexibility. So a quick timeout for an econ lesson. In my previous career, I was a secondary school teacher. And for many of those 28 years, I taught courses in economics. So skip to the next section of the video if this short lesson on the economics of flight pricing doesn't interest you. So an important concept in economics is price elasticity of demand. Simply put, it's a consumer's sensitivity to changes in price. So with most goods and services, a low price entices you to buy more, and with a higher price, you buy less. Economists call this the law of demand. However, this isn't always the case. Imagine you're bit by a deadly snake and you need 1 unit of antivenom to live. Well, you're going to buy and consume 1 unit of this, whether it's super costly or super cheap. I mean, the alternative is death, right? So let's apply this idea to flights. If you try to book a nonstop flight between business hubs during the week and on short notice, it's going to be ridiculously expensive. Well, the airlines know that it's going to be mostly business travelers. You know, some critical deal has to be made. Business people don't want to be away from home any longer than is absolutely necessary. They book with short notice, and the deep-pocketed company is paying for the flight. So why charge a low price when that type of traveler is willing and able to pay a high price? Now that exact same pricing logic applies to holiday makers who fly to the Caribbean during the peak of winter, or who go to Europe during the peak of summer, or who travel to Disney resorts during school holidays. Some consumers just have inelastic demand. They want to go there, then, and are not sensitive to changes in price. Now, flights are definitely not priced by the distance flown. Airlines have sophisticated data on the different types of consumers that fly on each route, when they buy, when they fly, and they price those tickets accordingly. So the opposite of the inelastic travelers are those whose demand is flexible or elastic, meaning even a relatively small change in price will disproportionately affect their demand. Now, airlines know that most leisure travelers who buy coach class tickets are price sensitive, and they may be willing to inconvenience themselves to save money in ways that deep-pocketed or business travelers will not. Now, this is why off-season flights with inconvenient timing or stopovers that are going to leisure destinations can be surprisingly affordable. But you don't have to endure terrible routings or travel in the lowest season to save money. You just have to have a bit of flexibility with your dates and destination. So that's the end of the economics lesson. So here's the technique that I personally use to find affordable airfares to places that would have otherwise been out of reach. The first thing you need to do is figure out what airports are nearby that are relatively accessible, but might not be your closest or most convenient. For instance, most of my travel life, I lived pretty close to Newark Airport. However, if the deal was good enough, I'd drive an extra hour or 2 to fly out of JFK, LaGuardia, Stewart, or even Philadelphia. The next step is to create your own big travel wish list. I assume you have a lot of travel curiosity, so there must be hundreds, if not thousands of places on our planet that you would love to visit. So flip through those coffee table books of the world's most amazing places look through UNESCO World Heritage sites, watch some top 50 videos of the most incredible places, city to visit, or greatest fill in the blank, until you have a sizable list of countries, cities, places, foods, and events that you would like to experience. Even if you haven't gotten around to creating your own travel wish list and just want to hit the beach for a week, there are a lot of beaches on this planet. Figure out what airports are closest to the top 10 or 20 stretches of sand that you aspire to frolic upon. Now, once you have your list of places, then regularly check websites such as The Flight Deal and Secret Flying, and subscribe to their free emails. Do the same with social media. Search for and follow local and international sources for airfare deals. Now, there's lots of paid subscription services that claim to offer exclusive bargains. But from my experience, if you're willing to do a bit of legwork, paid sites will seldom offer anything that you can't get for free by doing your own research. Now, after you have your list and you're regularly receiving deal updates, if you're not seeing anything of interest and wanderlust hits, then use Google Flights to explore. Now, unlike most airfare search engines, on Google Flights you can search flights from up to 5 departure airports and 5 arrival airports. However, you can also leave your destination blank. And with your travel dates, you can also be specific or even leave them blank. So if you just put in your departure airport and leave the rest blank, it will automatically search for a 1-week trip anywhere in the world sometime in the next 6 months. And once a destination that's in your price range catches your eye, then click on it to see some specific routings and how fares change depending upon your exact dates and trip duration. So just like if you're open to depart from an airport relatively close to where you live, try to also be open to a flight to get you close to where you want to go. And then you can use a separately booked regional flight or rental car, train, bus, or ferry to close that gap. Now, as you continue to refine on Google Flights, explore various flight permutations. Once you've narrowed down on affordable dates and destinations, play around with the search filters. Now, there's also strategies like open jaw routings, stopovers, or the Greek islands trick that can make your trip more interesting and affordable. And in a future video, I'll do a deep dive into these. So how has this worked for me? Well, since airfare is typically the most expensive part of a trip, and usually I travel with my family, this is often the way we decide where to go. For instance, a few months ago, we went to Newfoundland for $169 nonstop round trip from Toronto. Last autumn, we flew to the Faroe Islands from New York for $389. And earlier last spring, we flew nonstop from New York to Rome for $325. Now, with all of those, I started the search with just dates and a departure airport, but no specific destination in mind. Those places selected us. So thanks for tuning in. If you found this valuable, a like and subscribe is sincerely appreciated. Watch out in the coming weeks for new episodes on how I travel.